I think I always made the comment that once a miller, always a miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome on a Tuesday. So Tuesday night. This is different. Welcome to what we've coined the phone-in fan show. Its name may change over the next 20 minutes, half an hour. We'll see what happens. This is the show where we have put the link out everywhere. It's on the YouTube channel, it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook. If you want to come and have your say about the season ahead, the idea is that this is basically your chance to do so, because I think sometimes people get fed up of us idiots. Sorry, lads, but it's true.
These days.
Yeah. So here we are. Mick, you're with us. How are we?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. It's not a phone in. And then even if we're having somebody who doesn't even dial in, we could look very foolish.
What would you like it to be called?
We ever change. I don't care what it's called, mate. I don't care.
Well,
I'm just trying to be smart.
Praise or mumble.
Yeah, praise or mumble, yeah.
Yeah, could do that. Danny's back. How are we doing, Danny?
I'm doing all right. Had an interesting day at work today, which I'm sure we'll talk about if anyone decides not to turn up today. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Who knows? So it's the new type of show. Anything goes. Or not. I don't know. We'll see.
Nah. Not strictly true.
Not anything. All right, let's give it football related. Tom, how are we doing?
Yeah, good. Just in from work, so I had to inhale my dinner, but all good. All good other than that. Indigestion will kick soon.
Again, anything goes. This is a new chair you've got, Tom. You look different. It's a different setup you've got.
You're an intuitive man, Matthew. Yes, it is. It's a new chair that goes all the way back.
Why does this feel like the more podcasty version of our podcast? Like normally on a Thursday, it's more of a therapy session. If we go, Rotherham have been crap over the last weekend or so, why haven't we signed anybody? Where is this? Yes, Tom, is that a new chair?
Genuinely feels like a conference call.
Yeah.
Nice teasing.
Do you remember when we were all in lockdown? I mean, Tom might understand this more. When we were at uni and you all had to just sit and just do the Zoom calls all the time. It legit feels like that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I don't remember
that. I do. I'm back with you.
Yeah. Steve Gunn is with us, as is Shelley. John says this could be interesting. Palmad's also with us. John Morell says that's a proper Dr. Evil chair, that, Tom. You just
it's a really high. Yeah, it's the high seat. Yeah. It doesn't even come ahead.
We need to get Tom to go $1 million and say it.
We'll say that for another. Till next time. We'll keep all the good stuff until we need it.
I'll have proper next time.
Yeah. Like I said, we put the link everywhere. I'll probably tweet it out again in a bit as well. If anybody wants to come in and have a say, what you predict for the season ahead, anything you're worried about, like me, anything you're really positive about, areas that need to be. Go on, Mick.
Why would anyone be worried about you?
No, worried like me.
Right.
Like my prediction was quite low, wasn't it?
Is there anything you're worried about, like me?
All right. Jeez.
Anyway.
You tell us every time I show. Everybody's getting probably Larry, aren't they? Having a go at everybody else. This is unnecessary.
Because it's a Tuesday. This is what we're all like on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So what did we all think of everybody else's predictions? We didn't really sort of sum up everybody else's predictions. What did we all think of our own predictions? Listening to each other's. Mick, so anybody's prediction kind of surprised you that they were so positive or so negative?
No, I don't think they did really. I think with some of us in places in some categories have got swept along with the August euphoria that every single football club, all of the 92 clubs will be suffering from at the moment. But I think there's a certain amount of pragmatism amongst all of us that we're not necessarily going to be the ones that bounce straight back up. It's not a given. Like some other clubs seem to think that, the likes of us and Birmingham and Huddersfield all think we're going to bounce back up, and I don't necessarily think that's the case. Certainly not for us anyway. So, yeah, I thought they were pretty reasonable, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see somebody's trying to join us at the bottom. Richard is with us, but it's saying your device is not connected, Richard. So if you want to go through the settings on there, and it may or may not work. Hopefully it does work, because we can have somebody else.
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but whoever said that Andre Green's going to get most assists was a bit of a rogue one. Mick.
I didn't say that.
Did you not?
No, I put him down to player of the season, boys.
Oh, yeah.
I went way up.
Yes, it's not just a decent season, got good stats. The best.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry. No, that's actually my bad.
Yeah, we got Russ is with us. Thank you, Russ. Joseph Ogden says, "Evening, chap. First time listener, but heard lots." Oh, hang on. I don't know what that means.
It's Sarah's husband.
I thought this was a rough comment and I read that wrong. I'm sorry, Joseph. It says, "Evening, chaps. First time listener, but heard lots about you off the wife. Watching together because we're rate sad." Yeah. Richard says, "Is it me or is everybody talking at once?" Might not be you, Richard, to be fair.
No, I think
Danny, thoughts on sort of everybody else's pre-season predictions so far?
I mean, as a whole, I don't think there's any like proper out and out left field collection of predictions. There are one or two that's a bit of an interesting take, but it's like everyone's list. It's not really someone's just gone, well, I think a top assist is going to be Dylan Phillips. There's no really out there ones like that. But it's interesting that a few people have sort of expressed it on Twitter, which sort of aligns with our views, but they're not regular viewers of the podcast. So, it's sort of saying to me that either we're all thinking sensibly about it or we're all just completely out. Have I laid out? I'm back. Hello.
Yeah, that was a really good
classic New York talk going off here.
Yeah. You see, welcome to a Tuesday. My Wi-Fi is very iffy on a Tuesday. It's worse than a Thursday.
What?
I'm not sure about that. So yeah, we've got a list of everybody else over the big publications, the small publications, the gobby ones on Twitter, and then whatever. Although put their predictions in for the season. So I thought we'd go through them all and see where we are.
Do you want to try and see if we can bring Richard in? Yeah, he is in there. See if we can bring him in, see if he can hear us.
It says that he needs to connect his microphone or camera before we can add them. It doesn't let me add him. Yeah, Richard's saying modern tech has beaten him. All he can hear is all four of us talking at once. Close it down and rejoin us, Richard. I don't know. Try doing that, and we'll hopefully fix it. We'll like IT guys. John's an IT guy. John's in comments. Right, predictions. So the list is. Anyway, we'll go through them. We have Gab Sutton saying 10th, which we knew about. The Real EFL saying 3rd. Off the Line saying 2nd. Not Top 20 saying 4th. The 92 Bible say 2nd, as do the 6 Pointer. I will say I don't know all of these publications, but that's what I've been given. Nappers, the Fleetwood guy, says 4th. No, he doesn't. He says 3rd, as does Benjamin Bloom. So the average prediction for us, of you, Tom, average prediction is 4th. The one out of sync there is Gab Sutton, who said 10th. Are you surprised everybody's so positive about our chances?
Yeah, everyone is positive, but I think we are, and I think what you said on Sunday, Matt, was pretty valid in that I think a lot of people. I think there's little parts of this team that aren't quite sitting right with me in regards to we seem to have a lot of midfielders and not a lot of depth at the back, and that could be detrimental further on in the season. we also strengthened really early, but sporadically since. I mean, obviously you can't compare to Birmingham. We're going to keep saying it, but the likes of Wrexham have signed some really good players. Stockport, if they can get their players staying fit, signed some really good players. I think 2nd to 8th is going to be, I'll keep saying it. I think 2nd to 8th is going to be between 6 to 12 points. I think it could be anywhere. It could be a really big gap, or it could be absolutely tiny. I think it's going to be absolutely tiny. I think there's going to be a load of teams vying for playoffs and automatic. I think there'll be one team that walks it, and then I think there'll be a lot of teams in and around. So I think anyone who ranks us from 2nd to 8th is probably fair. I think you can't really harshly judge them, which is my personal opinion. What did Gab put us at 10th?
10th, yeah. I
think that's a little bit too far for me. I understand where he came from with a lot of what he said. He said Clark Harris didn't really fit the style, and I think, having seen him play a couple of times, he's not the sort of pressing striker that you want, but he will score goals, and I think that's what everyone seems to think. That's what Gab forgot, is that he will score goals, and he just does. It just happens. He can do nothing in a game and score 2. Well, it isn't technically nothing in a game, but he could touch the ball twice and score 2. So I think in that regard it's sort of fair, but I think it speaks volumes when a lot of other, journalists and I don't know if you'd call them journalists, but other podcasts and stuff are considering putting us between 2nd and 6th. I think that's probably sits about right with what I'd say. I mean, it's a toss up between anywhere between there. Obviously, love for it to be 2nd, but then again, if you're 3rd and you win the playoffs, what's better? What's more fun? Right?
Let me play devil's advocate, Danny. I don't necessarily think this because I know some of these are really good in terms of research. But could it be that people are just kind of a little bit lazy and go, well, it's Rotherham, so they're going to finish quite high in League One. They always finish quite high in League One. So there's my prediction.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think when you're doing an entire league prediction, laziness does creep into it, because it is 24 teams that you're predicting. And over the last however many seasons it is in League One, Rotherham have gone up every single time between 2nd and 4th. So maybe it is a little bit of autopilot, yeah, but I agree with Tom. I think any prediction between 2nd and 6th, I think, is a fair one for us. I think predicting 1st and us to run away with the league is quite ambitious, with Birmingham and Huddersfield and other teams who are building strong squads. But the one that really did surprise me was Gab Sutton's, to be fair. It sort of feels like he's overanalyzed it a little bit. He's sort of done a Matt Taylor and overanalyzed it. And I think he's looked at everybody else and gone, well, where do Rotherham fit in all this? And sort of put us at 10th as, a bit of a, I forget which panel show he was on, but he mentioned we've signed the likes of Sean McWilliams, and that was sort of his anchor point. But it's like, but we've signed a lot better League One players than just Sean McWilliams, like Tom said, with Clark Harris, and we've still got a fairly strong midfield coming with us to the Championship. So I think 10th is a little bit too harsh on us, unless it's an absolute disaster.
Could be.
But I think anyone who's got us between 2nd and 6th is all right. But I think the ones that have just sort of stuck to 2nd and gone, yeah, Rotherham will finish there, that's where it's sort of just creeping in a bit lazily. So yeah, I think playoffs is a strong shout, but if we end up finishing 1st and we're the ones that run away with the league, I certainly won't complain either.
Yeah, that's fair. But John Morell saying Gab Sutton's predicted Barnsley 17th. Barnsley the one with the biggest kind of variance in the predictions. There's some people like I've predicted 17th, somebody else has predicted 5th, somebody's 6th, somebody else 11th, 10th, 8th. They're the ones that are quite a big variance. I can't think of a better word, to be honest with you. Unsurprisingly, every single one of them have predicted Birmingham to finish 1st. There's your bank. Yeah, there's your banker in it. So yeah, that's where we are. Right, we have somebody wanting to come on.
Ooh. So
we're going to do what we came here to do, and hope for the best. We have in the backstage studio, Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you fine? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
What are you thinking then? Talk to me about your hopes and expectations for the season ahead.
Promotion. I can't see why we can't win the league.
Okay.
Big eye. But will Birmingham City gel, do you think, straight away? We've got all these players. Do you think they'll do that well? I mean, Jay Stansfield, great player. But again, it might not fit into their system. Same goes for us. We signed 16 players, whatever. They might not all fit together. But I can't see why we can't finish top 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
I think it depends massively on how the other teams that are going to be in and around. I think other than Birmingham will definitely be up there. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Well, having said that, what I said in my predictions, that just blows out of the water, doesn't it? So, realistically, you would expect both of us to be up there, potentially Huddersfield, but they've got other problems, haven't they? But it's how the other teams progress, like the likes of Charlton, the Barnsleys, the Wrexhams, the Stockports. It's how they gel. Because, like you said there, Dave, Birmingham have put a new squad together, as have we. We might both end up in 11th and 12th with somebody else playing high top of the league if things don't go so well. So it's, I don't think it's a given, but I'm on with Dave on this. Other than promotion out of this league, cannot be classed as a success for me this season.
I agree. The remit has to be get out of this league this time. He's been given, we don't know how much money he's been given, but he's signed lots of players because he had to. And I think these players won't be on peanuts, they'll be on quite a bit of money. And I think we have to get out of this league. And I think he's done the right thing giving 2-year contract because it means we can sort of, if they don't perform, if they perform well, we can say, well, we can maybe give them another year, or we can get rid for not a lot of money if not championship quality. I mean, the only problem I have is we have 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭, we have Nombe, we have Josh Clark-Harris. Do you think we light up front?
I think you've got a lot of Amesy. I think Clark-Harris and 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 are very similar hold-up players. Clark-Harris is a much better goal scorer. And I'm still not convinced where Nombe fits in a Steve Evans system. I am worried in that sense.
For me, it's a bit odd with Nombe that he's got the number 8 shirt. So to me, that says he's going to be playing behind the front 2 potentially.
I can see him playing out wide and coming in.
Yeah, I can as well.
He played at Alfreton. I went to Alfreton and he played, sort of played out wide. He was running the channels and going towards goal that way. I mean, I don't know, because like you said, he might surprise us all. I don't read much into squad numbers because, I mean, you look at the numbers now. I mean, Dalton 22 again. He's going to play. Is he going to play centre back, or is he going to switch up to midfield? You don't know. So these squad numbers, I don't read. Obviously, if you're a striker, you wouldn't have number 9 or 10. Yeah. But obviously, 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭's already got 10. So, and Johnson Clark-Harris has got number 9, I believe, hasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So when players come, those numbers are available. Number 9 was available, so you might say, well, Johnson Clark-Harris, I want to come, but I want number 9. So the number 9 might have been on the table anyway for Nombe. So he's picked number 8. So,
Yeah.
But I think we'll be all right.
We're just having Steve Evans and
I love him, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big advocate on Twitter to get him back. He was the only guy that we could get after last season's debacle of the 2 managers we had. Whether we let the first manager go too early, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't working for him, but the Richardson Richardson debacle, we got worse when he came in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he had to go. And I think the only person that would lift the club to get people to buy season tickets again would have been Mr. Evans, and he has done. So, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for Saturday.
Is there anything you're worried about with this season? In terms of the squad at the minute, is there an area where you go, oh, I'm not sure about that, or are you kind of happy squad wise?
I think we've got 22 signed up without Ben Hatton. There's rumours there's 2 more coming in this week. I think you'll have 25, aren't you?
Yes,
I think. So there's room for a couple of loan players there. Let's say till end of the week, but at the moment, I think we've got a good enough team to beat next to Bristol Rovers and then go down to Wickham and beat them as well. Whether moving forward, I mean, he's gonna address it as we move on. He might think, well, I'll leave it at that while January, or I might try a couple more before end of August. So we'll see.
What would you predict if you had to nail down a prediction now? What's your Rotherham United's finish position in May?
I'm going to say top 3. I'm going to say Birmingham, even though, like I said, I think it's the gel straight away. They'll get 100 points.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But like I said, they might not gel. But I'm still going to say Birmingham. I'm going to say us second, and I'm going to say it could be anybody. Bolton.
Yeah.
Throw in there. People's going to mark Wrexham. I don't think Wrexham will do anything this year. I think Wrexham will find it really difficult.
Their squad is so strong, though. The players that they brought in are fantastic. Like you say, every team needs to gel in a certain way, but I just think Wrexham's quality is just absurd.
I think with Wrexham, it's a case of the steam has to run out at some point, and they built up such a head of steam from the National League and then into League Two, and now they're in League One. Yeah, they've got a strong squad, but I mean, this could be the case with Birmingham coming down as well. Bigger teams have struggled in this league and have been here for a while. I mean, look at Portsmouth, Sunderland, Wigan as well. Those teams have struggled, and maybe Wrexham run out of steam and just finish 10th. I think Wrexham have a stronger shout at 10th than we do. Definitely.
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that one. Perfect. Thank you for that, David. The first guest on here. Thank you for making the effort.
Thank you very much. No problem. Thanks for having me. See you later, guys. Bye.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you. I enjoyed that. That was good. Thank you very
Praise
much.
Praise Grumble, eat your heart out. We've got cameras. Way.
The links are everywhere. If you want to come and join in, do let us know. On the teams coming up, Mick, Wrexham. We'll spend a minute on Wrexham because everybody thinks. I think everybody who doesn't know League One thinks that they're going to steamroll through, or doesn't know the lower leagues. I think Danny and Tom are right. I think this is where their journey slows a little bit. But what concerns me for the long term, from an outsider, from a Rotherham fan, is that I think they've got quite a good structure in there. Is that if they finish 10th this season, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it's a disaster where they have to sell their assets, sell everything. I think this is probably baked into their calculations, probably to have a slow League One, and next season maybe a really tough league to be in the same place as Wrexham next year.
Yeah, I think you're probably possibly right. I mean, obviously, clearly they want to get promoted, clearly, but I don't think it's certainly not going to be the be all and end all for them. And they'll look to build a solid squad to keep them going through the leagues because they've got the financial backing to do that. So. The issue is that some of the players that they have brought in, and I've got, like John's pointed out there in Mullen, they're fantastic at National League level. They've got the Irish lad from Wigan whose name escapes me at the moment, who everybody hates. He's a bang average League One player. He's all right, but he's a bang average League One player.
He was 2 or 3 years ago. What is he now?
So and if they're going to try and build a squad around people like that, then they are going to struggle. There's no doubt about it because football's moved on massively. I don't think they will, and I think they're clever enough and smart enough to not do that. But yeah, I'm not. I think the jury's going to be out on Wrexham realistically until we're a little bit into the season to see how they do perform. Because I'm kind of with what's been said there. They might be, but they're in that same category as Charlton, as Bolton. They might be up there about there, but Barnsley, yeah, they might be. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I also think that Phil Parkinson's not great League One, not great above anywhere at the top end League One. I think he got Bolton promoted. I think back in day.
Yeah.
But I think it was a great appointment in the National League. I think he continued to be a decent manager, although there was a bit of unrest last year at times with him. I think this is his ceiling. This is absolutely his ceiling. So then what do they do? They love Paul Mullen, don't they? I mean, he's been in Deadpool for God's sake. So the Reynolds and whatever, they absolutely adore him. But he's never done anything at this level before, anywhere near being half decent. So then that begs question marks. Let's go through some comments. Shelley's saying on Nombe situation, Nombe will play as a 10 role or out wide. I think he'll be wherever we need him to. Josh Caswell also says Nombe cannot be a striker with the football we play because he doesn't play to his strengths, which we saw last season. So he would have him out as a winger because he's definitely got the pace. Tobias is with us. Hello, Sweden.
That is out of order, that, Tobias. That comment, I'm sorry.
Tobias says that we need Josef Arabi, who plays for Hammarby, strong, fast. He can score goals. He means score goals. Also,
well, to be fair, I've seen him, and that probably might not be a spelling mistake, to be honest. But
I think we can put Joe Powell in that category as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love Arabi, but
man,
he's on my wish list. But I think he's sadly
mine
out
too.
Price range. I can't see us poking out a million.
Some player, that boy. Some player.
Yeah, he is. Ian and just got so and James McLean's the one that makes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if you were joking about that.
I genuinely couldn't remember his name because I'm old. But I certainly weren't joking about saying that he's a bang average League One player. On his day, that's what he was. Maybe he did a little bit of Championship in his early days, but his days are numbered, and I think that's maybe they brought him in there for experience. Lord only knows why, because that's not the kind of experience you want in a team. If you're going to be bringing a team of younger players through, I don't know. We don't know what he's like in the dressing room, do we? But we know he's already been scrapping in pre-season, so it doesn't really. Set off well, does it? No.
Yeah, that was funny.
I've got a question to pose to the floor. If there's one player at Rotherham that you sort of feel like could really be loaned out for development, for personal reasons, I know I've already loaned out JJ, but anyone else that springs to mind, or do you think we need a full squad?
I'd love Hatton to go out on loan, National League or League Two. Every time I've watched him, when he gets on the ball, you kind of sit up a little bit and go, "Hang on, there's something here." Now he's very raw. He's very physically weak, which is expected because he's still very, very young. But then I think, is he better to stay here because we've got the Bristol Street Motors, so he's guaranteed at least 3, probably 90 minutes in those competitions. Might get a bit of time against Crewe in the Cup as well, so that's 4 guaranteed games. Whereas if he goes on loan to Hartlepool, he might not play at all. So that I don't know.
That's the risk with a lot of loaning out issues. Is that if you do loan them out, is it a case of a lot of the time you're going to want to think, someone's going to go out because they're going to get more game time elsewhere. But we've seen in a lot of cases that's not necessarily the truth. I mean, Curtis DeRose was someone. I mean, Mick last season thought he was going to be our young player of the season. So and he got released. So it's tough to sort of decide what to do with Rotherham youth because we don't have many, and the ones that we do have are probably first team quality. So Ben Wiles never went out on loan, and he obviously did quite well for a period. Jerry Yates, again, I can't think of him having too many. Those sort of players, sometimes alone isn't always necessarily the be all and end all. But for argument's sake, I'd say the same. If it had to be one player, it would be Hatton. But like you say, he needs to be guaranteed good game time, not just game time, but 90 minutes week in, week out.
Yeah. Tom K asking, can players be recalled for the Bristol Street Motors? Yes, they can. So you can have loans where they can still play in that tournament, which like you mentioned, we do with 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐭 𝐂𝐥𝐿, which 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿 had a good tournament, had a really, really good tournament. I think he scored a couple of goals and played really well. You'd hope. See, that's the thing, because when Ben Wiles came through, I can't remember what it was called. It was probably Johnson's Paints, but that's where Ben Wiles came out as a footballer. That's where I remember going to the game against Chesterfield, and it was the same as Ben Hatton. He got on the ball and think, bloody hell, there's something here. Yeah. Now he disappeared for a year or two. He went, I should expect, because I think he was 19. But this trophy, as much as it has its problems, is a really good trophy and tournament and platform for players like that, because Ben Wiles showed without that tournament, Ben Wiles might not have got his chance. So it is important.
Yeah, 100% it is. Absolutely. And the likes of Ben Hatton and 𝐁𝐞𝐬𝐿, as you say, are ideal candidates for that. So I hate to say it, but it depends on Evans, doesn't it, and whether he is willing to, how much faith he is willing to put in younger players, whether it be in that trophy or whether it be in the league. And history tells us that he doesn't tend to be very, very keen on it, does it? Not only that, he doesn't tend to manage them well, or he hasn't in the past. I'm not saying that that's the case now, but in the past, it feels like he's not managed them well. So, yeah, I mean, it is an ideal competition. And you're right, Ben Wiles shone when he came on in that game against Chesterfield straight away. You could tell that he had something, and he was going to progress, which he went on to do. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It is a good, decent competition for that, if nothing else.
Yeah,
and a day out at Wembley to win it. That's also pleasant.
Yeah. Have you seen that Asai Tutu's on his way back to England, by the way? This is
I saw that earlier on today, yeah. Charlton, is it?
Charlton? To be fair, he's going to play with the best team in the league. So
Bolton, because it is, yeah.
I hate that
that comment's going to haunt him forever, isn't it?
Yeah. By far.
So, yeah,
I like Asai Tutu. I think he's a very good player.
I took him to championship. I was quite disappointed he didn't kind of come back on loan or whatever, but he went to Germany and did he get a promotion? I think he got a promotion with Bochum.
Maybe I kind of lost track, but he was sharp, really quick. Popped up with an excellent goal, and
quite an important one.
Quite an important goal.
Wasn't that his only goal for us as well?
Probably. I think so. Yeah.
I remember any goals.
He was one of those players that is really exciting, but we had Chio, and when you compare him to like Chio, he was nowhere near the level because he was he was in and out of a lot of games, but a really effective loan player. He was a perfect loan player, wasn't
he? He was one of those players that seemed to flatter to deceive a lot of the time, wasn't he? So if anybody in the comments is wanting to join, come on, click on the link, join us, because there's loads of people watching on Twitter as well. So even if you're not a Rotherham United fan, if you're a League One supporter of a League One team, come and talk to us about your team. Just be nice, that's all.
Wednesday out in League One, are they? So we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, well, there'll be. I mean, obviously, with them being so obsessed with us, there'll be loads of them watching just to see what we're doing.
But sure, actually, if there's any Wednesday fans watching, just come and join us so you can tell us why on earth you're watching.
Mick's trying to rage bait the Wednesday fans into joining, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's quite good at
that. Let's be fair, they don't take a lot of baiting, do they?
No, that's true. Scott Kent says, thing with Wilesy, he had Warney and Hamshaw that treat him like a son and nurtured him. Don't see Evans being like that. That's true, Danny, but what I would say, if you listen to the Paul Davidson article this week, I think it was from Paul Rayner, kind of explained that Steve Evans has calmed down. I mean, I don't know whether this was before or after getting booked in a pre-season friendly, but apparently he has calmed down. But yeah, it was, maybe it is to change, man. Everybody changes in 10 years. It's been 10 years. Everybody's changes slightly. So it'll be interesting to see if he is now able to do this different thing of bringing in some youth players.
Yeah, well, I think with Evans, it's not really a case of changing. I think it's a case of evolving. And, maybe he sees a bit more value in the youth players. I mean, he has signed a lad after a successful trial from Stanford, which was a very un-Steve Evans thing to do, really.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe the reason why some of the younger lads haven't gone out on loan yet is because he wants to see them in the EFL Trophy and develop them there before sending them on loan to one of the lower league teams, because I think they can be loaned out via youth loans outside of the transfer window, I think.
Outside of the AFL, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's the case with that, but we'll have to wait and see. But, Paul Rayner is, effectively sees more of Steve Evans than his own family does. So I'm sure he understands how much he has mellowed over time. Not quite to the point where, like you say, he's been booked in a pre-season friendly, so Lord knows what's going to happen over the season. But, in the brief time I've seen him in the dugout at New York, he's a lot calmer. He tends to sit more rather than being, some sort of tethered animal in the technical area. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with Steve Evans, but I do think he has mellowed a little bit, which is a good thing because there's going to be less explosive episodes, but it might dampen the entertainer side of it as well, because we all like to see a manager lose the mind from time to time, don't we? And especially when it's justified as well.
Honestly, if you've got Steve Evans who's calm, what's the point in Steve Evans?
Yeah.
I think the issue is, and I would agree with Danny there. I think I'd like to see him be the same man on the touchline. I don't have an issue with that at all. And again, this is, we're not really, clearly not speaking from experience because we've never been in his dressing room, but we've spoken to quite a number of players who have, and other people in and around the club from last time, and you would hope that, and he will have grown, he will have matured since then. People do, we all do, don't we? So he's not going to be the same person he was from the last time, but it's about the way that you treat your players in it, and about the environment and culture you create within that dressing room. And you would hope that that's where, if he has developed his management style, that's where he's developed it. Yeah. We'll see. Time will tell, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. John Chambers asks, what's everybody's view on McCart? Should he be given a chance? Danny, should he be given a chance?
I mean, we've said a few times on the podcast, take what Steve Evans says with a pinch of salt and throw it over your shoulder, because he said, the aim with JJ was to keep him here and fight for a first team place, and within the week he'd gone on loan to Shrewsbury. But he said with McCart, he'll be given every opportunity to prove himself and stake a claim in the team, which I think is a good way to approach it. But at the same time, Evans saw McCart for Barnsley last season, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's sort of seen a little bit of him in League One, and I understand Barnsley fans weren't the most impressed with him. It was just sort of all right for them. And I think in the centre-back position, you've got Raggett and Humphreys, potentially even a Doffin as a centre-half as well in front of him. So he'd probably be a valuable squad player, and he played really well against Donny in the testimonial friendly hybrid thing, whatever it was. But I think out of the very thin back line we've got, he would be the one to loan out without fitting into the plans. But maybe that's it. Maybe he's in the plans to have some sort of depth at the back without having to bring in another new body and have another new wage bill.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So who would he come in place for?
Well, I think I was just going to say, I think the difference between him and what happened with JJ is a case of, he said that JJ was going to be in the squad, then got his man in a song, and then didn't need him anymore. There's a bit of a, it's to be said that, you can't always trust what Evan says, but I think a lot of what happens is down to him, but also it's really not. If we were to go out and our number one target for centre half came up, we'd go out and get them and then probably sell McCart. So it's a case of, if we don't get it, he will play a part, and if we do get the player, then he won't. I think it's more like that than it is, a case of he says he wants him and then he gets him gone. And I also think he's an excellent player. I really do. I know a lot of Barnsley fans weren't the keenest on him, but I think he was. I don't know. I think he can be a bit part player in this team. If not, if you get some form under him, you know, a genuine, decent starting centre half.
He's also got the left foot, which adds balance. We lack a left centre half. We've lacked one since Woody, really, haven't we? To be honest.
Well, Blackett was good for a time, wasn't he?
Yeah, like 4 games that he played.
Yeah.
And he can't bring it off. Yeah, I think with Steve Evans, maybe he doesn't. He obviously doesn't lie, but what I think he does, and I think maybe this is why more modern managers are boring. He talks in certainties, doesn't he? I only want 2 more players. Well, that's not necessarily going to be the case, is it? Because if you sign 2 players and this amazing third player comes available, you're going to sign that third player and move somebody else along. So it's not actually Steve Evans lying. It's just, I don't know. He just doesn't speak like normal football managers, does he? He is a unique character, which is again why he's so divisive. Why some people adore him, some people hate him, both in and outside of the supporting Rotherham United. Or if you're not at Rotherham United, you probably hate him, don't you? Can't be many fans of other clubs that like him. So
yeah, and then I think that's part of his plan anyway, isn't it? You know, he does polarise people, like you say, and you know he kind of you know, we talked about James McLean earlier on. You know, Wigan fans, the teams that he plays for love him because he gives everything to that club, and he does with whoever they are. You know, so he commits 100% to it. Everybody else can't stand him because of whatever reasons, many reasons, but also not only the way he plays his football, which is 100% with his heart on his sleeve. And Evans is a similar sort of character in that respect. You know, people outside of it, outside of the club that he's managing, he doesn't go out of his way to wind them up, you know, directly, but indirectly. The way he speaks and the way his mannerisms and his attitude towards the club that he manages, and he gets people's backs up, and I get it, and I understand why. So, but I think that's part of his plan, I guess. I don't know whether. I know
what you mean.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Wrexham, welcome to Wrexham season 26 or whatever it is. He will be the main character. It's just main antagonist of the documentary. He will make himself the main antagonist.
Of course it will. Of course it will. And then you've got to bear in mind as well. And I don't know whether this is just a fact. You know, North Wales is very Welsh, and it is. And there are quite a number of anti-English people in North Wales for various reasons going back for centuries, and as a result, you know, he will latch onto that, or the press will latch onto it, or social media will latch onto it, or fans will latch onto it. You know, that will form part of it. There's no doubt about it, and it will be very disappointing from Wrexham Football Club or from Wrexham FC or Welcome to Wrexham to try and exploit that. Some sort of televisual gain, financial gain, or whatever. I didn't say. I mean, John's comment there. Well, Wales is very Welsh. Well, yeah. I mean, it's on that bombshell.
What I would say, if you've ever been to Cardiff is a classic capital city. All the big cities in Wales are not necessarily.
Yeah, it's a more militant part of Wales, shall we say? There we go.
Leave that there. We'll leave that there.
Whereas if you're from Pembrokeshire, everyone seems to be sound and just want to buy you a drink all the time. So, you know, South Wales is ace, North Wales.
My comments there are not based on that. That's not criticism of people from there. You know, you should be proud of where you're from and everything else. But it can spill over, and I'm looking at the fact. I'm trying to put that point across with James McLean's history as well, and you put the two together.
Yeah, Rotherham's history with James McLean and Steve Evans just being Steve Evans.
Yeah, there's
an episode in this, isn't there? There's an episode.
Yeah, there is. Absolutely. There's a lot of potential powder kegs there that could quite easily be lit.
I can already see it happening. The next series of Welcome to Wrexham, there will be a whole episode dedicated to Wrexham against Rotherham, and everything just kicks off and bubbles up from everything. And we'll be sat there like the 4 idiots that we are, and they'll pick out something.
Can't wait for the feature.
and we'll get shamed on Disney Plus for something or other.
I know this is a controversial point of view for a lot of football fans. I have no issue with what's happening in Wrexham.
No,
I think it's great for the club, great for the town. It's fantastic, but more importantly, it's great for the supporters. You know, they've had a lot of years of absolute garbage. So, you know, obviously they've got all the newer ones they'll be hanging on and all this stuff.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And the Americanization of football. And I don't necessarily mean ownership. I don't necessarily have a problem with good American owners. I have a problem with Americans kind of invading the sport and trying to make it their own, if that kind of makes sense. You've got your own sport. That's great. But this is the EFL. It's a unique thing. Don't try and change it. Don't try and Americanize that, if that kind of makes sense.
It's a difficult one. It's not quite that easy, is it? But yeah.
But Wrexham are an EFL football club. I'm really happy they're back in the football league. I'm playing them all the time. I'm going to the stadium. I am genuinely happy that they're back in the league.
I think the main thing is that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have embraced the English football culture behind it as well. Like you can tell in the series. I know we're waffling about Wrexham quite a lot. We're starting a Wrexham podcast. If you want to subscribe to that now, they've totally embraced it and they've got the bug. And I think that's the difference between those type of owners, which technically are Canadian and American, and then the whole corporate identity of other American owners, you know, like the ones who own the 49ers, for example, when they came in and bought a stake in Leeds, they look to franchise it, and because American sports are all big franchises in the professional leagues, but whereas in England they're not. Maybe the Big Six in the Premier League, they're the closest that you get, but the rest of it, it's, you know, still more going back to the whole tribal culture of, you know, this club represents us and we don't want that identity taken away from us. And they've sort of embraced that with Wrexham and rebuilt the town and put money not just into the football, but also into the town itself. And they've really made a fairy tale, almost a Disney fairy tale.
It's not a fairy tale.
In terms of getting the club back to where they should be, it is a fairy tale.
It's as much a fairy tale as me playing Football Manager, taking over a team in the National League, cheating and giving myself £1 billion and getting to the Premier League. It's not a fairy tale. It's not quite cheating as much as I do, but it's not far off.
If you're from Wrexham, it is.
Look, if they've won lottery, haven't they? Wrexham fans have won lottery. Basically, yeah. I am concerned that if they beat us in the playoff final, I'll never be able to watch Deadpool again without feeling a bit sad. So that is a concern. But yeah, there you go. Tom K says, don't think many people have a problem with Wrexham itself. It's more the obsessive coverage Sky give them. Yeah, that is that. And also, Sky Sports Plus is about to launch. This is not a plug. If you were listening to the podcast, you'll have already heard my plug halfway through as part of the TalkSport campaign. They've done this 1 to 92, haven't they? Each club's got a little on Twitter. Each club's got a little story, and I think Hannah Cross from the Her Game 2 organisation has done the Rotherham one, which is great. Somebody put one up of the Crawley. You know, it's like a 6 or 7 line story of the fan and their relationship with the town or with the football club, and you'd assume they write it on the back of they write this thing on the back of the shirt and put the graphic on the screen. You'd assume they'd just put a generic template. But they've ripped the Crawley one on the back of a Rotherham shirt, and it's got the Rotherham sponsorship on the back of it. So yeah, Sky Sports are off to a winning start.
Yeah, off to a flyer.
With that one.
When does that go live? Not to endorse it or anything.
I don't know. I would assume it's going to be. It must be. You'd assume it's got to be Wednesday or Thursday at the latest, because obviously the games kick off on Friday. There's on Thursday, is there?
No, it's Friday when it all kicks off. So it's Sheffield United against Preston, I think.
Well, there's Derby, Blackburn versus Derby, Preston home to Sheffield United, Barnsley at Mansfield in our league. That's a Friday night game in League One. And Chesterfield against Swindon. John Morell saying, "What's a Crawley?"
John, you're going to get a shock. There's all sorts of teams in this division that you'll never even heard of before.
You could probably fly down to Crawley, though, couldn't you? You know, from Birmingham to what's airport near Crawley? The Gatwick.
Yeah, Gatwick. Yeah,
we'll go with that.
Fly down, John. Get Tom your ticket, mate. He'll sort you out.
It is Gatwick. Genuinely is Gatwick.
Yeah, there you go.
The more you know. This is why you tune into Tuesday night, New York Talk.
Welcome back to Football Geography with New York Talk.
That would be a good round of a pub quiz, though.
Yeah, we would.
Ooh, actually,
Right.
shout.
We have somebody joining us. I'm going to add our guest in. We have Steve with us. How are you doing, Steve?
I think so.
Can you hear?
Can you hear us all right?
Let me have a look.
Steve's gone already.
Welcome back to Tuesday nights with New York Talk.
This is why we thought about not doing it live to start with. I'm talking about his picture seems to have frozen. Hopefully we can get Steve back in a minute. Remember, if anybody does want to join, the links are everywhere on our socials: Twitter, Facebook, X, whatever you want to call it.
About 10 minutes.
We're going to have 10 more minutes or so because Mick will want to bugger off by then. Steve was using Danny's internet. Danny's still related to you, Danny.
Yeah, Steve's actually sat in my front room.
On 3G.
Right. He's come back. Let's try now. Steve.
Hiya.
You can hear us. How you doing, Steve?
Sorry, I can hear. Sorry, that's yeah. Modern technology. That's gets me every time. How you all doing?
I'm very good.
Not too bad, thank you.
So we all excited for Saturday then? What? Sorry.
What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about the season ahead?
The season ahead. I think, unfortunately, I'm always glass half full or maybe 3/4 full. So I've got the same feeling as I had before last season, where I think we've got a great chance and one of the strongest squads we've ever assembled. So yeah, I'm looking at thinking, oh yeah, we've got we've got a great starting 11, great subs bench. We've got a squad that's not even been out of the championship, who's never played below championship level. So we'll be fine this year. So yeah, so I'm not a great judge but I think the main thing is the season end with Richardson. It ended so flat, didn't it? And I think before we got I think before that we appointed new manager, I'd have been like Mick. I'd have thought, well, Steve Evans is a bit short-term. Is anybody but him? I think we need a real rebuild. From what you're hearing, it's a 3-5 year project. But now I think it's at least there's a bit of energy, excitement. There's some. I'm looking forward to watching us on Saturday for the first time for 6 months. I think, which is what we need really. And I think
Can't believe you said you're a bit like Mick then.
Yeah, no, I think before we appointed Evans, I thought, is that a backward step? Is that too short-termism? Are we good? Do we need to rebuild? But I think now, I think a bit of short-termism might be all right for next season. A bit of encouragement, a bit of excitement.
Yeah.
I just, it's so hard to gauge as well because again, I think the players at his side, you're thinking, well, they're all top-end League One. A few of them went up last season. They all look exciting. They all look good. But then again, other teams are making equally good signings, aren't they? And, so I think I would like to say that we're going to be competitive, which is as much as we can say in every game. I'd like it to be competitive in every game and go to every game thinking we're going to get a result.
Is there a signing that stands out for you? Is there any of the 12 or 30 we've signed that you think, wow, that's...
I think Clark Harrison, but then I think Kelly might be quite quality. I don't know. I've not seen him, but from people who have been pre-season, I don't think anybody's been on fire, have they? Really? Humbo maybe, and the new lad who got a contract. Lad. Yeah. But I think by the sounds of it, we've not been blowing people off the park, have we?
No,
but last year it's the opposite. Last year the pre-season games were really good and we were really confident, and then we all went. And this year the opposite. Hopefully, it's the opposite in the season as well.
I'd like to think players that were possibly championship quality last year. Humphreys, Dauphin, Tete will maintain that and look like proper League One top end players. Rathbone should hopefully come back to be a proper League One player again. So yeah, I mean, I like Raggett as well. I think I like it. Solid centre half.
No, he's a proper League One centre half, isn't he, Raggett?
Yeah,
I do. We love Raggett.
I think we got a good balance as well this year. I think last year we were very heavy on we were dependent on the old folks and the retirement age.
Not wrong with that.
The likes of Cafu came with such great pedigree, didn't he? And he was he was one of the star players, and he ended up being anything but. So I think Evans has said it, Annie, that he wants to go for players that they look at their injury record and how often they play and all that, which definitely means more about what Evans wants every player available for every game, which is a bit different to if we can squeeze 15 minutes out of this unbelievable Jamie Vardy, then is that better than having a Jamie Vardy, a David Nugent all season? That was the worst analogy I think anyone
that was weird though.
That was
I'd like to think with Evans he won't accept the mediocrity from last season. If it's drifting off, he'll change it all. He'll be he won't accept the fact that we're just drifting and mid-table and whatever. He'll just sack them all off and start again in January, I guess.
my sort of point to that, Steve, is that I think we did drift. We drifted all season, and that was tactically we were drifting, and that was down to the manager. On both occasions, neither manager really were able to take the bull by the horns.
Yeah.
But they both had their own specific way of wanting to play and tactics. I'm not convinced that Evans has got a way he wants to play. If he did, he'd be absolutely brilliant at it. Because he'd be positive and get him to do it. But I'm not convinced he really knows what he wants.
But that's the benefit, though, isn't it, as well? That's also a good thing because he's not stuck in his ways. He's not Russ Martin where he can do 100%. Only one thing. It's mixed with it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'll be a smart ass here. You've got to know something, though, haven't you?
I suspect it'll be more Warren than Taylor. I don't think we'll be taking more touches than we need to get into the box. I think if there's a chance to get it into the box, it'll go into the box.
Yeah,
but which is that might be the only thing that stops Birmingham running away with it, because they play like a Swansea too good football and don't kill teams off when they're absolutely 80% possession and knocking it about. Well, I'm sure they'll kill teams off anyway. But it's like, but I don't think we won't be knocking it about round midfield and at back, will we? I don't think.
No. I'd be amazed. That'd be the biggest shock of the season. Before I let you go, Steve, give us a prediction for Saturday afternoon, 5:30. Will it be our first away win?
2-0 to the Millers.
2-0. Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us, Steve. Thank you.
No problem. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. We got there in the end, which is the most important thing. Enjoyed that. Scott Kempson will come on next time if we do one. He's out tonight. We could. He says do a phone in for the Sunday also for reactions.
Then we would be taking praise or grumble, wouldn't we?
We'll see what we can do. I really like our Sunday episode, but Scott's also right. We really enjoyed this with David and Steve coming on. We're getting these views as well. We don't know what we'll do. We'll talk about it. What works to my heart. But yeah, this has been good. I've enjoyed this. Anything else we need to mention, lads, before we get off? Because Mick thinks Mick's in a rush.
Why?
You're the one that said it 10 minutes ago.
All right, yeah, that would clue, weren't
it? Are we missing any more gold medals? Is that what the worry is?
No, we're just going from work.
It's only boxing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
I was going to ask them whether it were men's or women's, but I won't.
Let's not go down that route.
Let's not go. We've done well. Let's not go there.
Yeah. Josh Casper asking if blue cards are introduced this year. I don't think.
I think they are in the regional leagues as like the trial.
Trialing them, aren't they? Yeah.
They binned it off. They binned it off as the ridiculous idea that it is.
I'm almost certain we haven't got them, but that's something we'll check.
Why are we wanting to give referees something else to think about? You can't think about what they've got to think about as it is already. Don't set me off. It's not started yet.
That is the best answer I think you can have.
Yeah, Mick has torn apart any addition to football over the next 25 years. Why give referees something else to think about?
Exactly.
Yeah, Mick Lax is right. Tear up the rule book. We're not doing that.
Take some things off them.
It's good to see that your pre-season's work though, mate, because you were straight into that then. There were no warming up to that. We're straight into a mini rant then.
You
had a good pre-season.
We haven't kicked off yet.
Mick's been doing his stretches at work, hasn't he?
Yeah. That's the equivalent to Steve Evans' booking.
Yeah, it is, yeah. John's let us know. Blue card got scrapped, which is good. Tom K, yes, we can only have 7 subs on the bench in League One, so that is a change. So last season it was 9, it's now 7. Still can only make 5 substitutions. John, Mick moaning about refs and claiming Wales is Welsh. Football is back.
I can't believe how easy it was to set you up. Well, it was a question. It was our blue cards introduced, and it boom.
Blue cards, blue touch paper, weren't it?
When we take away any structure of our shows, it just gets stupid, and we just
sorry.
I apologise. It's all right. It's all right. We will do the review. So the referee has been announced for Saturday, but we'll go through that on Thursday.
Keep it secret a bit, please.
Yeah, the good news, I'll let Keith Stroud is still a championship referee. That's the good news.
Keith Stroud's never been a championship
referee. Off again.
I wasn't trying to be happy. I was trying to cheer you up.
How is that even a sentence?
Championship. Anyway.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know. The Sky deal is good for him, to be fair, because he'll get so much more time on telly.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Still not touchline slapping players on backside, won't you?
Josh Casper says if he sees Madley in League One, cry out. I'm pretty sure he's also a championship referee.
I'm pretty sure he also isn't a championship referee, but let's move on. Come on.
Oh, God, we could do this for hours.
Right, is there anything else we need to mention before we crack on?
No. For God's sake, no.
Yeah, Bobby Madley's doing the Friday night game, so he gets box office viewing.
How was he not retired after was it Leicester game? Was it Blackburn? I can't remember.
Blackburn. Stop it. Let's move on.
It's like poking a bear and take me a steak.
Yeah. Right. So thank you all for being with us tonight. We've had massive numbers watching this. I know only 2 of you have joined in, but we've had really big numbers watching this. So thank you very much. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube if you are watching on YouTube. If you're watching over on X, I see there's over 200 people of you watching on X. So make sure you have followed us for a start. And if you want to go over and have a look on YouTube, because we're going to continue doing the instant reaction, which is kind of exclusive to YouTube, and a few other bits as well that will be only on YouTube rather than live streaming through X as well. So do go over there and check that out. If you're listening on iTunes and Spotify, make sure you've subscribed. If you were listening on iTunes, probably you'll notice that the shows have been split in half. That kind of just makes things a bit better, a bit easier for us from our side. So I hope it doesn't cause too much inconvenience for you. We're not changing it, sorry. I'm just apologise in advance. That's the way it's going to be going forward. So you can kind of plan your listing schedule around that. Shelley says, I missed it if you said, yes, we're back Thursday. It's the week of the season, so we've got extra episodes. There was an extra episode, I think, for the season coming up. So we'll be back Thursday. we may well be doing instant reactions for away games this season. We're going to have to, again, as a group, talk about this and work out how we're going to do it. But I know we likes the instant reactions for the home games, so try and work out how we can do them for the away games as well. Because I think that'd be good if we could. Steve says, sorry for swearing. He couldn't hear anything at first. We got there in the end, Steve, and we enjoyed it. That's all that matters. The joys of broadcasting live.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah,
That's it. Mick, Tom, Danny, anything else?
No.
All good.
No, all good.
Perfect. Thank you all for being with us. I've said all these about subscribing and liking the show and everything like that. We'll see you on Thursday. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
I think I always made the comment that once a Miller, always a Miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favor, drop me off in